This video contains spoilers for the King's Feast. You have been warned. No, seriously, you've been warned. God damn it. Don't watch this if you haven't seen the King's Feast yet and you still want to watch it. Welcome, I am Seven Draws and I am the DM for both the King's Feast and the King's Spy one-shots on this channel. Now, the King's Spy is supposed to be the successor to the King's Feast. It will use the same characters, or at least the same party and several of the same characters as the King's Feast one-shot, which is why I made this video in order to make sure that people who hadn't seen the King's Feast or just didn't remember it had a little bit of a recap before the one-shot itself started. So, let's get started. The King's Feast is a one-shot that mostly revolves around 4 people: Izon, Rednak, Aqua, and Fang. These 4 are all 4 part of the Golden Guard, which is the kind of the royal guard of my world of Mundukturia. All 4 of them have in some way been invited by the king to join, and because of that they are currently waiting for the King's Feast, which is the feast for the king's birthday. Now, however, before this birthday began, the king got a threatening message which literally said, either you give away your money or we will come to kill you. Because of this, the king has asked his Golden Guard to stand present, not presence, in order to, how should I say, well, make sure that him and his family don't get hurt in the process. Because of that, the one-shot begins pretty much during the preparations of the feast. And the first couple of episodes of the King's Feast actually talk about how they scan through the palace and notice a couple of things. For example, there is a chandelier that gets hung up above the dance floor where the king and the queen will do their dance. And thanks to some nice investigative work by both Izon and Fang, it is quickly noticed that this chandelier would fall on the king and queen during the dance if it was left in its current state. Additionally, they also found out that some people were trying to poison food of the king and the queen, but they weren't able to do anything about this. In their investigations, they also noticed that there is one strange character who tries to enter the feast, or actually is successful in entering the feast because he's invited. This is a character known as Izon, the Traveler. He and several of his guards actually show up at the feast, all of them carrying weapons. Now, originally, they don't want to give away their weapons. However, it ends up, thanks to some quick work from Rednak, it actually, they end up being able to remove their weapons before the actual dance. Now, all of this being said and done, it is quite clear to the party about during the preparations, it becomes quite clear to the party that the king and queen are going to be attacked during the dance. Because of that, they all prepare for a fight, which ends up breaking out as during the dance starts at exactly midnight, and about 7 seconds after midnight, or at least, well, a little bit longer, bells don't take 1 second, but a little bit after midnight, the king and queen both collapse to the floor and start showing signs of pain. The poison that was in their food was actually successful, and at this point, several snipers on the first floor of the palace and several assassins and blood hunters start racing in through several doors of the palace. A large fight breaks out, and the king and queen are luckily enough brought to safety through Fang's work. Luckily enough, Izon is capable of keeping the rogues at bay. Thank you, Izon. I fucking hate you. And at the same time, Rednak and Aqua keep fighting off the Blood Hunters and the Eon's Guard, who have also become a part of this fight and are trying to kill the king. Now, luckily enough, this entire fight is in the end won both through the powers of the Golden Guard, including the party and several other members who also were defending the palace, and of course due to the son of the king and queen, of the king and queen, Prince Jason and Prince Ferris. However, during this moment, it becomes quite clear that Prince Jason is more panicky than he should be. Even as the fight has been won, he quickly tries to race towards the underground bunker where the king and queen are currently hiding out. He races towards that place while the entirety of the Golden Guard starts scanning the rest of the palace. However, the remainders of the attackers have at this point left the building and run for safety. So, all of them, about 15 minutes later, decide to go back down, and they are greeted, when they reach the underground bunker to tell the king and the queen that it's safe, they are greeted by a scream from both the king and queen. It seems that at this point, Prince Jason has locked himself into the bunker room, which is currently protected by magic, and is trying to kill his parents. Because of this, the party decides to breach through the door. Aqua is capable to use her, I think it was Aqua, I don't remember if it was Aqua, no. Someone is capable of using their magic to breach through the door, and at this point, both through some help of the 4 party members and Prince Ferris, they are capable of stopping Prince Jason. However, not before he kills the king. It is at this point that, or not at this point, but after the prince gets taken away, Queen Ariana reveals a secret, namely that she had a relationship with some sort of an elf. And out of this relationship came a son, Prince Jason. This is something that both the king and the queen know, and it's very much probably the reason why the king wasn't too fond of Prince Jason, but was very fond of Prince Ferris. And this is also very likely the reason why Jason always took more after his mother than his father. However, it is here that it's revealed that because of that, Prince Jason is a bastard and very likely has sided with the elves. It is also here that it becomes known that there is a very good chance that this event will start a war. And with all of that information, the party now knows what they have to do. As a time of war breaks out, we start with the King's Spy one-shot.